Hello once more, and welcome back to McConnell. Knowing closeness is more than merely physical contact. It involves stepping into the more profound emotional and psychological characteristics of your spouse. In this video, Lexamen for important locations that women frequently desire for their partners to touch, demonstrating how these motions can improve comprehension connection. We will also explore the psychology of these preferences based on female psychology, Stoicism, and guidelines to assist you in creating a more deep connection in your relationships. The importance of maintaining eye contact. Click the subscribe button if you're interested and prepared to step up your handling connections and unleash the potential of being stoic in your life. Stature in the appropriate location. Each video provides you with one more step toward mental mastery and making deeper more significant. Let's get going, okay? This is the harsh reality of closeness is more than simply the physical aspect of fit. Further into the power of touch and attraction, the domain of trust, thought relationship, and comprehension. You might believe Stoic is everything. However, most men overlook this secret weapon, the value of making eye contact. Yes, I'm discussing the type of eye contact. It breaks down and cuts through the noise, walls, and fosters a closer bond more than you ever thought. You've most likely felt it. Prior to those instances where you look her in the eyes and the entire world disappears. It's not about looking at her clumsily like some creep. This isn't the same. This is about those little silences when words are unnecessary and your eyes are reperforming. It's that unstated amid all speech connection that speaks louder than words. When your eyes meet hers, you could say it resembles a surge in an electric current. That's the power of die between you two. Contact has the ability to be powerful due to its shonest and raw, and it can help you nearer than you ever imagined. However, the worst part is that eye contact isn't only about arousing desire, but it's also about establishing trust. 8. Her eyes and she notices that you're completely present. At which point the genuine relationshipers. She realizes you're not Marilyn it only physically but also emotionally. And it's also about psychologically demonstrating to her thought she cares. That you're not preoccupied or you're with her. But you are immersed in your own thoughts in thought instant. Which is really important. And don't just believe me when I say that science supports the release astrogard by this up-contact of oxytocin, the damage that cause fostering love and trust, so that each one you meet or gaze, you're literally fortify your relationship. It goes beyond simply touching the appropriate places. The goal is to evoke an emotional rooted connection. This is when the Stoic way of thinking is used to play. The Stoics were more than first place subtle but powerful. It's regulating their surroundings. They realize that true power comes from controlling how you react to the outside world and in closeness that entails being totally available when you gaze at her with goal. When you're not preoccupied with you're not considering future afterward, when you're alone with her, at that point you assume command of thee at that point. You demonstrate to her that you're not merely a man seeking a fast fix, but someone who appreciates the stronger bond. So the next time you don't be afraid to make eye contact with her, keep her. Look intently and firmly. Give her the impression that you're there when you do. Let her know that you'll appreciate her. You're not religionating. Desire. You're building a relationship of trust. Relationship that transcends the surface, at which point things truly begin to alter. Eye contact is more than just a technique that powering the less visible areas. It's revolutionary because once you've mastered it, you'll see a difference. I assure you this is a talent that transcends closeness and will transform how you relate to others, how you cultivate connections and your appearance in the globe. And after you discover how to utilize that power, and you'll be unstoppable. Okay, let's discuss thepower is something that most men overlook of contacting the less visible areas. If you believe it's all about theotypical locations, the locations theparian. Disgust or losing out on an entirely new degree of connection allow them to give you a hefty blow. The truth is that a woman's body has spots that triggers when properly touched. Responses that are far more intense than you may believe. That these secret locations, airware, Once you figure this out, the magic happens out. You'll be able to establish a stronger matter, misjustasmic. If you wish to create that intense a connection, you must select your words with caring. No nonsense, no flattery. Just because genuine flattering remarks coming from a location, afternoonliness. Tell her how beautiful she appears. Certain, but make it personal. What you adore about her and what motivates you, you're crazy. But it's not only. About gratitude is always important. And anticipation is fourth place. The ultimate touch point. Crucial observed, how the hinting or tantalizing, what's what comes next, might cause her to cling to. Every word is an affective strategy that you're painting a picture, not just talking a mudge in her head. Gradual instinct, that stress that she eyes waiting for. Discover what comes next and it begins. Let's discuss pace slowly, now that we have. You occasionally talk as though you're revealing a secret to her alone. Strikes that gentle, personal tone distinct. But don't be scared to change it up to become a little stuffer. Every shift and be bolder, but keep it warm. You may keep her by using your voice completely absorbed, sharpening her senses in ways that words can't adequately describe. It's the subtle reasons why that is important. Combine that gently touching her, perhaps stroking her neck, or you've put your hand on her back. This is the cold truth with passion, something you must comprehend. Soft strokes that have a greater impact than the great gestures can be disarmed with words pleasant, but those peaceful provate. The whispers that give her feelings actually sincerely hoped. She'll recall those she remembers certainments much longer than this isn't about playing anything else. This Gami is about being authentic and deliberate, and this is where the Stoics and Stoic philosophy believed in having control over your ideas, your behavior, and the influence that you have on other people. Yet, it's not simply about regulating your speech regarding presenting it with intention. Your words shape the power to create chaos or tranquility. Relationship or separation, you own the ability to produce something tangible, but it demands master of buying, totally present. Your feelings and use of that authority to establish a report, so that the following time don't early solely on her, since your close to her physical contact communicates with purpose. Using your voice to convey message and establish the tone, to arouse a desire, since in the end, ultimately, it doesn't matter how much you claim that it's about your words and your mannerisms. Show her how you feel and that's nobody can ignore power, or how to read her reactions right quickly. I'll have a question for you before we resume. Which method do you prefer for creating a deep relationship with a woman? I would adore for you to leave a remark below and provide. Your ideas are a fear, unsure about what to simply type, and this link will be established in the briefment. Paying attention to your viewpoint makes these discussions that are far more significant, and it makes this video even more accessible. Men who could find it useful. Therefore go. Please take a moment to leave a comment. I'm eager to read your next words. Let's continue since the finest part is still in front of number 4. Sweetie touches that are more expressive than words speaking about your hands. They're not only to be touched, or rather to forget about force or haste when communicating. The strength is in thigh tension and accuracy. Imagine that quality is more important than thigh quantity. Each touch is like a brush stroke on her body, and the canvas a wreathy masterpiece. Gradual trace of a gentle graze along her back down her stomach, or a gentle pat on her thigh scan, establish a stronger bond beyond merely physical. The key is to explore with touch. Diversity glide, off temperature and pressure speed. Running your fingers over her flesh or applying pressure. Her back's tiny. Tease. Small actions reveal a lot about her. A gentle pat on the neck is your golden zone. A stroke around her neck or behind it, waves of sensation from the collarbone. She won't anticipate the major, shock and intimacy you're demonstrating to her. Distinct, it goes beyond what you will accomplish. How you do it. A slow methodical stroke when paired with the appropriate pressure produces the Timingoff. A remarkable experience is everything. Let's now introduce the Stoics, instructed to behave purpose-fliant, be totally not responding rashly in the moment. Your touch need to convey Stoic approach to physical touchatitude. Purposeful, don't and want. Deliberate control, brush, it's there. So go slowly and let your hand will talk on so you're completely, the gentle touch will have greater significance as opposed to the issue is will you. Don't anything grand. Accept it. It's number 5 in the real power. Okay, behind pleasure, if you're the kind of man who is still here, you're not here to settle for mediocrity. Since you're not content with the surface level off enjoyment beyond the next, you're seeking defense and insight. Not cheap thrills and genuine bonding, which is what isolates the mind's actual power and intimacy between men and boys.
So let's examine its true strength behind it.
Most men believe that pleasure is everything regarding the body, the hands, that contact, moves. But allow me to provide a bit of information. Ruthless intellect weighs the most. Wait. The most powerful thing in your mind is organ that interprets each and every touche. Every word to become an expert off skill. But if you're not participating, you're missing the point. Desire. In her view, it all starts with pleasure and fulfillment in the mind. Your brain makes the final decision. What thrills her? It's what feels good. What Makesher want to stop more? If you want a cake, concentrate solely on her physique. Elevate this. Must get in touch with first in her mind. And here's the catch, is the starting point for serious power conversation. Yes, I did say it. Well, your hidden weapon is talk prior Tony, I think. Physical happening. Take that time to learn about her preferences, what turns her on, and what makes her tick. Inquire about her dreams, and establish a secure environment where she can express fool. The more at ease you make her feel with you. In mind, it's simpler to physically unlock her. You're not merely seeking sex that you want to produce, an encounter that energizes every aspect of her in their mental health issues. Continue. Games have the power to motivate game as she messages that. Air suggestive before you lay a hand on her. Final thoughts and outro. Gives awake clues about what's going to await a Daravel is among the most strong pull that makes you crave her to feel tensing yearn for the previous moment. Idivan starts, let me share some knowledge, he stated, who looks outside off dreams. The deepest pleasure is evoked inside originate, from flashy moves, the psychological and emote. Relationship you establish here is where Jinyon neck knowing her on a personal level, give a Sue power, deeper level. Now remember that pleasure is notantly mental. It is also physical, reacts to visual stimuli. Other than touch and sound effects softly set the scene lighting that fits the mood. These particulars aren't mere details. They interact, everything feels. More alivicas of her senses closer and more genuine. And this is where when Stoicism is applied. The Stoics didn't just teach self-control over your abilities and incapable of controlling what. They taught about presence and comprehension when you're there with your spouse on an emotional level. And you have mental power over the experience, which makes it strong and satisfying on all levels. So keep that in mind when you establish a mental connection with her. Recognize her desires before making contact. You're not merely making the occasion. Better her when you get proficient, you're changing it. The art of mental and physical relations. You're not merely having your care resulting in an amazing experience. Therefore, this is your incentive. Allow me to drop something Asa, a little reminder. Vital here, brother. Never undervalue the mental power in relation, tone, enjoyment. The reality is the mental and emotional bond that deepens the understanding. Significance of anything else. For sure it's nice talk, know all the right moves, but it all depends on how you make her feel. There all thing is the game on its head, aphrodisiac. Let's bring everything to Gar. Now, intimacy between two people is more than just what you're in conclusion. Being aware of the important areas where she desires to feel touched, intimacy is more than simply physical attraction. Secret locations are where once you figure this out, the magic happens out. You'll be able to establish a stronger bond. It surpasses even the most basic. I'm being gently touched, ath little of a faint graze down the nape of her back of her throat, or a light pressure on the within her wrist, which is unexpected, but these locations are quite delicate. And when you touch them purposefully, rather than haphazardly, You're messaging her in a manner similar to talking with your hands isn't about only following the procedures. It's about giving each action purpose, like a quiet dialogue where body recognizes. Now, consider area such as the rear, her neck, shoulders, or knees. Or even her ear lobes may appear tiny or unimportant, but believe me when I say that they possess enormous potential. The second place, the emotional trigger key, is in how you took them, occasionally with a gentle touch, works far better than going Allen with a solid plaything. Softness and pressure, and observe how your body reacts in unexpected ways. However, this is where them realists stand out. Finding hidden spots is more Ethan. Just making showing her physical pallier. Is the goal that you are therein, that you are concerned? Enough to examine what truly brings her joy? These locations have a direct connection to her mechanism of pleasure, and when you obtain it, yes, you'll ignite something much more, the exterior. And thence you finish, her body will be grateful. No words are needed. It's not about playing games. Let's face it, this is about making a deeper connection level. It involves looking past appearances, level encounters that the majority of men are involved in, and genuinely conversing with her in some manner that fosters closeness and have faith when I investigate. These surprising spots, you're not merely stroking her body, you're making her feel something. And that's what distinguishes those who serve from individuals who leave a lasting impression. And here's another strong hairstyle tip for her. May seem easy, but managing your playing with her hair, with her fingers, or simply giving it a light pat can feel extra mile personal. A tiny act such as this extends beyond the physical realm, conveys concern, affection, connection, which is calming, consoling, and demonstrates to her your attention and presence into her. Therefore, let's go to the next point. Don't just leave when you're near her. Slow down and take your time at the typical locations Timon. Investigate these less evident areas. Observe how her body responds, and when you experience mastery, the skill of speaking and the art of delivery, lean into the response. It's about hurrying or kicking boxes, ensuring that every touch matters. Believe me, when you begin to take note of these subtle areas, you'll establish a degree of intimacy that she will never forget. Let's bring in some of the Stoics. Knowledge possess the ability to be present and concentrating on the present and exercising control what you can. In third place, the secret spot. Most men ignore the closeness space, the tantails being totally present rather than hurrying through the physical examination to reach the ultimate objective, is to comprehend the effect of each touch at every instant, as well as your reaction to it. When you do, you'll see that the most profound force is not used to create connections. They're created by being patient and present in comprehension, so that the next time we'll keep in mind that it's not simply about the obvious locations. Focus on the small topics that nobody discusses, and the ability to be totally present with, since doing so results in the development of a relationship that's more than just physical, real, passionate, and unforgettable. Okay, so let's be honest for a moment and discover how to master the art of number 3 of your words, and more crucially how, as you mentioned most. Men don't notice this, but believe it's a game share. The key is actual contact, thus it's crucial, but what really matters is your voice. Weapon the force of spoken words. You might ignite a spark within tangent that you didn't even knew it was feasible to consider. Most men didn't even think about the ear. However, must say that it's absurdly the appropriate words were whispered at the delicate. The appropriate tone at the thepper per moment can have a significant tant impact on many males engrossed in thievedence, and depending on appearance or what should function. But I can assure you that intent and tone are what really make you stand out. Words aren't only words or instruments, and when utilized, they are deadly whispers.
Oh.
So use them carefully while you're near her. Anything in her ear?